Good morning and welcome to DDM Morning Show. I am Toch Raphael, joined by Ibrahim Umar Wase, DDM analyst, and a special guest always, Mr. Deports. You're welcome.
Good morning, Nigerians.
All right.
Good morning.
Today, Mr. Deports, you're welcome to the program. Today is Friday, 22nd August 2025, and we have interesting stories for you. We shall talk about Nigeria. Many would call it a major boost in the fight against cyber-terrorism or cyber crimes. Nigeria kicks out 50 foreigners over internet crimes. And then mixed reactions as Peter Obi dismisses alleged photos of son with gay partner. Very sad indeed. And finally, we should talk about Israel, should I say final offensive. Israel launches fresh assault on the Gaza City's last stronghold. These are very interesting stories today, and I believe we shall do justice to each of them. Let's take it away with the first story. On Thursday, the Nigerian Immigration Service, NIS, in collaboration with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, deported an additional 50 foreign nationals convicted and sentenced for cyber-terrorism and internet fraud by the Federal High Court in Lagos. This group consists of 50 Chinese nationals and 1 Tunisian, bringing the total number of foreign cybercrime convicts deported since August 15, 2025 to 102. These individuals were part of a significant syndicate arrested in December 2024 by the EFCC during Operation Eagle Flush, a large-scale cybercrime crackdown targeting a 7-story building in Victoria Island, Lagos. This operation netted 792 suspects, including Nigerians and foreigners who were involved in orchestrating cyber fraud, Ponzi schemes, romance scams, and investment frauds primarily targeting the US, Canada, Mexico, and Europe. The syndicate used advanced technology along with social engineering tactics on platforms such as WhatsApp, Instagram, and Telegram. The foreign nationals were convicted for cyber-terrorism and internet fraud, receiving sentences that include 1 year of imprisonment and fines of 1 million naira each by the Federal High Court in Lagos. After serving their sentences, they were handed over to the NIS for deportation back to their countries of origin in accordance with court orders. EFCC Chairman Ola Olukoyede hailed these convictions and deportations as a critical milestone in Nigeria's fight against cybercrime. The EFCC emphasized its ongoing commitment to investigate, prosecute, and recover stolen funds from cybercriminal networks while aligning with President Bola Tinubu's anti-corruption drive. Now, this is a major boost. This is a major development. It is not only Nigerians who are always kicked out from other countries back to Nigeria here. And now we have a situation where outsiders, foreigners in Nigeria, who have been involved in cyber criminality are also kicked out. And this will tell, the international community that Nigeria is not a place where all sorts of criminality coming from outside is dumped. No, Nigeria is also starting to be sanctified, or what is it called? To be rid of any kind of bad elements, whether from outside or from inside. What's your take, Mr. Deports? Do you see this as a good development? Or because we are always suspicious of the government, anything they do, whether good or bad, we criticize them. But why can't we, for once, see a good thing in it? Why are you laughing? Let's hear your take.
Well, you can't be in Nigeria and praise Nigerian governments, right? Because they've not proven us wrong. Me in particular, I'm always a critic of the government because even this same thing you are talking about now, how did they find their way to Nigeria, right? Did they fly through the air? The answer is no. They came in through land or through our borders, right? So the government, in terms of immigration policy, I don't understand the justification or the reasons given by these immigrants for coming to Nigeria in the first place. For you to visit any European country or any Asian country, there must be a reason for your visit. But in this case, what were the reasons given? Was it employment? Was it establishment of industry? What are the reasons that these cooks, internet fraudsters gave for coming to Nigeria? That shows the porosity of our borders. The border is so porous that anything goes, anything comes. So the immigration policy of this country needs total overhaul and review in order to avoid the incessant, cross-border of terrorists or criminals who come into our country to commit all sorts of criminal activities. Because Nigeria has been seen as a safe haven for criminality in the African sub-region. And that's the reason why they are flocking, because they know we have a weak laws. Our laws are weak. And
okay.
The judiciary, on the other hand, is another tale of its own. So, any country that does not have a very strong institution, strong laws in place, criminality becomes the order of the day. And that's the reason why these internet fraudsters easily find their way into Nigeria. Of course, this deportation is the first in the history of the country, majorly having internet fraudsters being deported out of the country after serving a jail term. It's a shame that a country with high rates of crime and criminality of different order, this is the first batch of people being deported. And I hope it's been sustained. I hope the fight against such criminal elements is sustained by the government. And not just on internet fraudsters, the political fraudsters that created the internet fraudsters should be the target of the EFCC as well.
But could the focus on foreign nationals overshadow or can you hear me due process?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Now, could the focus on foreign nationals now overshadow the need to also address homegrown cyber criminal networks? Because we have our own domestic cyber criminals.
Criminality, as you see, it has no tribe, it has no region, it has no country. Crime is a crime committed by whoever, it should be dealt with squarely. The Nigerian internet fraudsters have developed chain of network, not just in Nigeria. They are working with foreign criminals as well, who collaborate in order to have successful deal dealing with foreign victims as well as the local victims. So they have chain of network, and that network needs to be broken, and all criminals need to be arrested. There should be cooperation among different member countries to have the fight against crime, against cyber crime in particular, take it to the next stage. There have to be cooperation among different countries to be able to stop all forms of cyber crime. In the country today, in Nigeria in particular, you see different fraudsters trooping into group chats, dropping spam messages, looking for means to actually, bait ignorant people to click on their links in order to be able to scam or take over their WhatsApp platform. And WhatsApp in particular needs to upgrade our security because it's too porous and it's easily being hacked by unknown persons, unknown criminals. So the fight against internet fraudster should have started long ago, not just today that they are not showcasing it, that they have done something. If you look at the magnitude, number of internet fraudsters, the number of persons that have been scammed, the number of WhatsApp platforms, for instance, that have been taken over by unknown persons and all that, if you compare the ratio, you see that it's just the tip of an iceberg.
What socioeconomic factors do you think contribute to this cyber crime in Nigeria? Because it seems to take over, other criminalities.
Yes, cyber crime, like every other criminality in the country, is not far associated from the bad policy of government, the poverty situation of the country. Uh, the Gen Z generation are not, they don't have this patience of having to extract patience and manage the limited resources you have until you're able to have enough to be able to meet your needs. They are this generation that wants everything classic, classic, classic. And if they run out of funds to meet these needs, they tend to go into criminality because there are no jobs out there to keep them busy, to keep them engaged. For anybody to be able to go through a successful internet fraud, it shows the high level of intellect that person has possessed. And this high level of intellect should have been utilized by the government in a different direction by providing these young people jobs, provided the enabling environment in terms of power supply, needed take-off funds to be able to stage their own technology, right? In China is doing it, Japan and all these Asian countries, they are doing it by supporting their young people to be able to start up their entrepreneurial journey, even starting up their own scientific knowledge to be able to put up something and get it started. And you see the patronage comes in, they begin to produce, they sell, and to other countries, to even their citizens. The idea of having to produce something, they have to be enabling environment to achieve it. And the government is lacking in that regard. They are not providing the funds, they are not providing the security, they are not providing the power, they are not providing the opportunity for the young people. So this whole thing come into play in increasing the wide margin of criminality in the country.
All right. Now, let me give the statistics for Nigerians to know how serious and how devastating cyber criminality could be. Nigeria loses a significant amount of money to cyber fraud annually. According to a recent report by Financial Institutions Trading Center, FITC, Nigerian banks lost about 53.4 billion naira to cyber criminals in just the first 9 months of 2024. Now, this figure represents a dramatic 468% increase compared to the same period in 2023. Now, losses were especially high in the second quarter of 2024, reaching 42.8 billion naira before dropping to 10.1 billion naira in the third quarter due to improved banking security measures. Now, we talk about measures. Of course, the security measures has to be 100% or at least 90% technological for you to fight cyber criminals, not just go about arresting criminals, but also find a way to prevent the fraud, collecting money fraudulently from private individuals and citizens. So what do you think the government can, and private sectors also can do to mitigate the effect of this cyber criminality?
Yes, the antidote to cyber criminality spread is involvement of technology. Technology cannot be overemphasized. Any country that will not invest in technology, like I say in my earlier speech when I was mentioning those things, technology cannot come to be in a country where there is no sustainable power supply. There is no, investment in education, right? These are things that give birth to technology. And there should be provision of funds so that people can go into research and come out with a very credible outcome to be able to test run it and see how to implement the technology. I watched a video where in Delta State, the government is employing technology actually fish out kidnappers. And they invested in a drone, and the drone goes on air and monitor the movement of kidnappers. The police don't need to bother themselves, go around ransacking the entire forest, but the drone guide them directly to the kidnappers. What am I trying to say? Technology is very key, right? Some of these internet fraudsters, the money They don't print money through the walls of their house, and they don't go anywhere. They just lock themselves within the house wherever they rent, and they are staying. You see them with their numbers. All they do is scam. They are getting and withdraw the money through the bank. I mean, there's what we call KYC through these banks, right? Even the phone number that they are using for browsing and everything is doing KYC. And what is the government doing in handling or tracing, tracking these internet fraudsters? That's very important. The government must be very proactive. When you see influx of money, I mean, being moved from one account to the other, and Nigerians at a point became so tired of even when you complain, nothing will happen. No, we need to take that step further to report to relevant authorities, report to the police, report to the bank, to take action. And my problem with the police, there has been repeated complaint that when people report to the police do not act. Rather, they collect money from the victim again that they want to track the number, they want to track those involved. At the end of the day, for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, nothing comes out of it. So it becomes discouraging. The government must be seen to be ready to fight crime. There must be investment in technology. If we are not investing in technology, forget it. There is no way you can handle internet fraudsters. Even other kidnappers and terrorists that are terrorizing the country with the needed investment in technology to have it done. It's not a rocket science. It's not something that you need to go to church and be praying or to mosque to pray about. It has to do with practicality. There must be investment in technology. And what gives birth to technology is science, right? So we need to invest in our education to bring about the needed research that will produce the required technology to be able to fight crimes and criminality. And investment in education. If you look at the amount of money our politicians are budgeting for themselves, right, and how much is being budgeted for Nigerian education, you weep for the country because the politicians have no iota of plan for the current generation, not to talk of the future generation. If you look at Nigerian situation, for instance, how many police stations do we have? How many civil defense posts do we have? How many other security architecture that we have in the country? How many of them are situated between residential area to provide security? And even when they are there, they rather prefer to cause unnecessary hold up, blocking the road that they are doing checkpoint. What are they checking on the road? They are checking nothing. So there should be deployment of technology to solve the Nigerian security situation. Without investment in technology, we are not moving an inch forward, rather we continue to go backward.
All right, thank you very much. What a wonderful commentary. Mr. Ibrahim, I know you always have something to say.
All right. With regards to this fraudster case, I believe the crux of the problem is justice. Because in a country whereby we have homegrown fraudsters, not just fraudsters, kidnappers and bandits who lie on social media platforms. We're not talking about technology here. These people are not serious about securing the life and properties of Nigerians, not even to mention foreigners. Homegrown fraudsters, we're talking about. Nigeria have the reputation of having the best fraudsters in the world currently. And also, the government has successfully destroyed the educational system in the country. We have, I think, more than 40 universities in Nigeria offered cybersecurity as a course, and we have a lot of computer experts. But the question is, are those students really getting the skills that is required of them to fight the cybercrime? The answer is no. And why? Mr. Due Process said part of the problem, which is the nonchalant attitude by the government towards education. The second part of it is injustice again, because the preferential treatment. If you graduate from university, you don't know anybody, forget about the grades you graduate with, you will not get a job in Nigeria. Someone who graduates with third class or even a past degree will get a job before you that graduate with first class if you don't know anybody. In that case, deceptive loyalty is often more important in Nigeria than hard work. So why should I go to the university, waste my time, get the best, graduate with flying color if I know that the hard work does not pay any longer? So that's why most of the youth in Nigeria are now beginning to ponder on whether education really matters. That's why we even have the debate in the first place that education is a scam, because people have begun to lost interest in education and the system of education because of injustice. So clearly the root cause of the problem, the crux of the problem, I mean, is injustice. And for them to solve it, it is simple. Number one, fix the educational sector, because no society will go above the level of their education. Second, employ the youths. An idle mind is a devil workshop. You can't have 70% of your population as young people, and you have no provision for these young people. Employ them, keep them busy. If they are not busy, they will indulge in all sorts of criminality. And it is normal because they are being oppressed by people who are not working more harder than them. The only basics is that should I say, yes, that preferential treatment that we enjoy from the people they know. So these are the problems in this country. And until the government is serious about fixing the crux of the problem, sending 50 fraudsters out of the country is not going to solve anything in Nigeria, because Nigeria is the home of fraudsters.
Thank you, Mr. Ibrahim. Let's take our second story. Mr. Ibrahim Umawase, DDM News analyst. Mr. Due Process, thank you for your contribution and your time. And to you, viewers, thanks also for your contribution and time. But we want more comments from you. If you love this show, do not hesitate to hit the like button, make your comments, share this video, and subscribe to our YouTube television. Today is the final day of DDM morning show this week. We shall meet again next week for another exciting edition. I am Toichku Raphael. See you next time. Bye-bye.